What's going on, guys? Back today with another night shift preview, number 49 this week. This week we're going to get Buff Enjoyers taking on Leviathan to see who's going to take on Abrahams in the Challenger match in EU. And then in NA, we have a new team coming in, Pulsar Esports, taking on Melee Creeps, who's going to play Pauper's Pupils in the Challenger match. I'd never heard of Pulsar Esports. Apparently they're a pretty legit brand. They're from Korea, and they've been getting into esports recently, but to not set off your alarm bells with like the FPSL situation, they seem to be a much more brick and mortar type of company. They do like hardware stuff, mouse and gaming and stuff like this. So this is not some random investor dude. This is not some just crazy upfront money that people are getting sold on. This seems to be like an actual company that is now getting into esports to be more of like a marketing tool for their products and gaming hardware, essentially. So don't freak out. Don't get on it. And apparently the sponsor was found by Hydration. It could be Cran was the one like pushing this team and talking about it. So I'm not 100% what happened, like why that's kind of why I got framed when I first started looking into it, because apparently this team is simply the stated roster is Hydration plus 5. So it appears Hydration was someone who went out to a sponsor and was like, hey, I'd love to do like a streamer team type of thing. And he went out and probably found the best and brightest in the streamer world, honestly, for what was available in terms of actual streamers instead of pros. So the team right now is going to be Hydration, Scout, Crayon, Aiden the Destroyer, Parzillion, and then the 6th is still kind of being trialed. They were trialing Zergsby. I can't tell from the screenshots I was looking at with scrims if Zergsby is still trialing as the 6th, because everyone uses aliases and I don't want to track people's... I'm tired of tracking people's accounts down because they just keep changing their name every fucking 3 days like children. So I'm just done chasing that down. They're still trialing their 6th. We'll see who eventually comes out of that. But from the players we do know right now, gonna do a little dive into them. Hydration, obviously, if you haven't been following the scene for a long time, is one of the OOGs of the scene. Played in literally the first ever tournaments ran in Deadlock, I should say, back in 2024. Obviously, it was like one of the spearheads of the Hydra Nation team, which was the first like dynasty Deadlock had. Completely dominated the scene, getting first or second in pretty much every event until Melee Creeps kind of started piecing it together and kind of starting their own dynasty type of thing. And from scrims, it looked like Hydration is going to be being much more of like a flex player, which I think fits him a lot more. I think on FPSL, he was kind of getting pushed into the box of like just playing support, which I think is not his strong suit. I think he has like an immense amount of picks, like he has 20 heroes with competitive experience on. I think like his Calico is one of his stronger characters. He's playing Calico in scrims and stuff like this. So I think Hydration kind of built this team because he wanted to kind of show how much more of a robust player he was than what was being seen on his previous team on FPSL before they got kicked. Obviously, he got kicked for the new iteration that is now Pauper's Pupils. So I think a thing people don't know about Hydration is also Hydration is a Overwatch pro. He was one of the first like hero shooter players to come over to the scene, which I think actually did help a lot, especially early on when people didn't really understand the game that much. And I think it's a big proponent to why he's someone who like thinks about the game and understands the game on a more fundamental level, because he kind of had this like huge burden off his chest, because although he wasn't like the most successful Overwatch pro, the fundamentals of a hero shooter he understood, so he could focus more on like the MOBA centric aspects that he had to learn about the game. And I think it shows with his early success, especially. And yeah, I'm excited he's back in the scene. I think when the merger happened with FPSL and Floorman, he was by far the best player left off the team when the merger was happening. They essentially picked Xeno over him, which I think was the idea. Was Xeno had more pick-centric heroes. He was more versatile in like a pick/flex spirit role, whereas Hydration is better at like frontliners and support and some like flex spirit. So they felt like it fit the team better, even though I think overall probably Hydration's a better player in my opinion. So glad to see him back in the scene. Glad he has his own team where he can push the direction. And I wouldn't be shocked that with his Overwatch connections, how he was able to figure out the Pulsar Esports thing and getting a sponsor to help them out. I don't know if they're being paid how much. I don't know if it's like, it could just literally be being paid in hardware like that. That's like the OG esports way. Like they send you a bunch of stuff and you just put like advertisement stuff in your stream. I have no idea, but again, it seems like Hydration was the pushing force to like putting this team together, right? And the second best player on the team, I would say, is Scout. I've made a million videos about Scout because of the MLC situation and stuff like this. Scout is, at best, a pick player. He's a very good Paradox player, very good Bebop player, has good holiday games in. And obviously, he was a huge part of the early on Melee Creeps dynasty, where they were just taking over the scene. They were the first established team after Hydra Nation to really put up a very competitive roster, and was having a ton of success in that field. And I'm blocking stuff again. Okay, caught it at least midway into the video. So yeah, I'm glad Scott's back on our team. He was kind of bouncing around for a bit. He was coaching. He was filling in on other rosters like BWC and stuff. He's playing for Get Candy. He was bouncing around. Now it seems like he's found a more permanent home. I don't know how long this team will be together, because something we're going to talk about in a bit, or I guess I can just talk about now, is Ranger is actually coaching this team, but he's even said forward and just been very forward about he is coaching this team until Ido and Do form a new team. So that is very just out there in the scene that Ido and Do will be making a team at some point. They just need to find, I think they both want to take a break from the competitive scene for a bit and then come back into the scene with a robust roster that they feel can actually go forward and again want to be together a long time, where this team feels more like streamer team. These guys are playing the game all the time. They just want to kind of get competitive experience down, which is interesting. And then I would say the next best pro here, I didn't even open his links. Lol, I'm a noob. Okay, here we go. Got the Aiden stuff already. So Aiden is most known for his time with Bunny with Clock. He was a good pro, very solid M1 player. Eventually quit team because he actually just got bored of playing M1, which I totally understand. I think M1's one of the more boring roles in the game if you're not someone who gets that dopamine hit off of being a pure aimer type of thing. And has since filled in with Whip for a couple of games. Well, Whip was forming, but then obviously Whip didn't last. And has not been legitimately in the scene since his time with Purple Clock. Does not mean he hasn't been playing the game a lot. Since Aiden has stepped away from the pro scene, has been playing a lot more spirit carries or flex spirit characters like Pocket, Celeste, so has been expanding his pool. So excited to see what he plays on this team. He could be someone who kind of mismatches a lot of different roles for the team, which will be interesting to see. And I'm excited he's back in the scene. I think Aiden's a really good pro, and Aiden is someone probably hasn't had a ton of success in Deadlock yet, but is a very established esports player. He was a very, very good Apex player. Won a bunch of tournaments. Got third at the S tier tournament, LGC 2023 split playoffs too. So was competing at the very top level. Obviously had a 16th at the championship, but Apex is a very, very competitive game and somewhat RNG based. I think people kind of overreact with the RNG based stuff with Apex a little bit, but Aiden is a very established pro and is someone I am excited that we have back in the Deadlock scene, frankly. And then now to go into people who don't have Deadlock experience but are still pars. A lot of people know Pars through his stream more than anything, because I don't think he had a very big audience when he was streaming other games. I'm not sure, though. I just wasn't in these communities. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. But Pars actually got to start in Call of Duty. I was kind of playing in what are called play-in teams. So for a long time, challengers for Call of Duty is essentially open bracket. You can just form a team, you can play, trying to make your way in. Eventually got a 7th, 8th at a Ridgewald off-season series World War II variant. So I had menial success at Call of Duty, but then eventually swapped over to Halo, where he had a bit more success playing on teams, playing with pretty big names too, Ghost and just people people who are pretty high up pros in Halo that wanted to form new teams and stuff like this. Again, wasn't crazy at Halo, but was again has competitive experience, is very well positioned to do well in pro Deadlock. And frankly, is just someone who's constantly ranked 1 to ladder. I talked about this in my last video with Recon and Braden. This is someone who clearly has the talent level to play competitive 6v6 in Deadlock, and also has pro experience. So that helps a long way when you go into actually trying to make the transition from matchmaking into 6v6. So I think Pars is someone that again we're actually see do quite well. And then Crayon. A lot of people don't know Crayon actually was a pro-ish. He played collegiate esports at Davenport University playing Valorant, and although it is collegiate team, they did play against pros, right? He actually did play against Busio back in the day when EG was still forming the roster. This is before they were Omega Giga team. This is 2021. Busio went on to win Valorant champs in 2023, so this is when EG was still forming the roster. But even when playing with the collegiate team, he was in fact actually playing against top level pros. So collegiate and Valorant was weird because there was a lot of tie into the scene with collegiate and pros until the actual pro circuit was formed for Valorant, right? So Gran, I think, is someone people will criticize a little bit more, saying he's like kind of like a 4-foot MM player, but he does have competitive experience. I do think he will do quite well for this team, excuse me. And I'm excited to see him play pro. I want to see what Craion's going to be playing. I'm assuming he's going to be like frontline type of player, or like Flex Spirit. I don't know. Like a lot of these guys play similar roles, so I'm curious to see like how everything like breaks out. They do probably have big enough pools where they could just play like best fit for best hero type of thing, so they could be a little more like flexing heroes than your average team, which will be cool to see. And then the 6 is still undecided. So they were trialing Zergsby. I don't know if this is scrims they played against Pauper's Pupils on Sunday, I think. Last couple of Sunday or Saturday around there. So they're doing well in scrims, but I don't know if Zergsby, I don't know who Squiggly is. I know this is Pars. I think this is Aiden. So I have no idea what this is. I think it's Zergsby. I have no idea. Here, I'll just get my full webcam out of the way, honestly. I think this is Zergsby. I don't actually know though. So again, everyone chooses their names and all that. But this was against Pauper's Pupils. It's the first scrim they played. Play a set of 3 games. They did kind of get turbo stomped in this game. Kind of gave I would say Pauper's Pupils the draft they want though. This is like exactly kind of the style they want to be playing. Viscous popped the fuck off with the new build. So the Express Shot, Mystic Shot, with a Spirit Snatch, and then into like Reverb, Echo Shard. This game went 47 minutes, so as the game goes longer, I think the thing before the patch, which just happened, was Viscous actually scaled extremely well with the items that you're seeing here. Second game, so they did this game, I'm saying they got stomped, but they actually put it to 47 minutes. It was pretty even early in the game, but eventually they kind of just got out macroed, kind of like out moved on type of thing. And then the second game, I would say it was a lot rougher for them. They just got like full stomped. Again, like trying more stuff out, like they're busting out the Sinclair. They're busting out the Pocket. I'm wondering if this is Aiden and this is, I don't even know, bro. I don't know. I don't know. Everyone changes their names. Scout was playing his holiday and stuff, and this game was a much harder stomp. And then they actually played a really interesting draft where they played Victor and stuff like this. So they are just trying out, kind of seeing what they want to play, what they want to do with their roster, and like who to put on what heroes type of thing, which I think is a good idea, especially when you're in early on scrims like this. So this game was much more competitive. It went to 36 minutes, not as long as the other game, obviously, but they had a door in mid boss. They had a Victor ready to go and contesting. The Victor just got so behind early here, but did catch up soul curve wise a little bit, but was again just like pretty behind. It actually went like the gun Victor build, which is interesting to me. Very interesting. But this game was much closer. They just kind of threw with the door, trying to contest them at boss, and the game was kind of just over. So this team you will be seeing today, so I want to do a quick preview of them. I think all in all, this team could actually do quite well. It's kind of like a mismatch though, or mixed match, like with just like kind of like random players. So I do think Hydration will kind of be like the IGL, or kind of like leading the team a little bit, at least in draft wise. I don't know as much in game, but all in all, I think with all the new rosters getting formed together, this will be like a very fun like cult team to cheer on, because again, they're like big streamers, they have big audience, and they're just bringing more things to the pro scene. So excited to see these guys, and I will be streaming all the games today. So if you want to tune in, I will be watching. Keeping this one a little bit shorter. Wanted to keep the last one shorter, and then it didn't end up being shorter, so I actually do want to keep this one shorter. And we'll see how Pulsar do today against Melee Creeps. Melee Creeps obviously looked pretty bad in scrims, and then looked great the following week. They took Pauper's Pupils to 3 games, right? Braden's Wi-Fi blew up, so they had to bring in Snakes. So like I still don't have like a gauge of how good I feel about that team. Braden looked awesome on Calico. So excited to see them get another week under the belt. And again, they look terrible in scrims, and then they look great in Night Shift. And then so with Pulsar kind of looking all over the place in scrims, I'm excited to see how they actually look in Night Shift. So I'll see you guys then. And the games will be honestly like an hour or so. So I will be tuned in, hoping to see you guys for the games. Peace, 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 peace.